yet every day, day in, day out, we attain and we strive towards Jannah. This is the one goal in our hearts, that we always want to go for Jannah. And every day after namaz we make the dua, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. May, oh Allah, I ask for greatness in this world and greatness in the hereafter as well. And furthermore, Allah, He mentions in the Quran in Surah Haqqa on the Day of Judgment, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابُهُ بِيَمِينِهِ, meaning the one who receives his book of deeds in the right hand. So this person will be of great virtue. He will be a happy person this day. Allah says that for him, فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابُهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَا أَقْرَأُ كِتَابِيَهْ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that for this person, he will receive his book of deeds in his right hand. And this person, he will be entered into Jannah. He'll be entered into the high ranks of Jannah. So it's a sign that the person on the Day of Judgment, when he receives his book of deeds in his right hand, so the person receives his book of deeds in his right hand, for him, he will be the person who will enter into Jannah. And then, if we move on to the torment of hellfire, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that, he mentioned in the hadith to the companions, and he described how Jahannam was actually formed. And he describes, because the main thing of Jahannam is also referred to as nar, meaning fire. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he describes this fire, and he says that the fire of hell, when it was kindled for 1,000 years, meaning it was brought to flames for 1,000 years, until this flame became red. And we see sometimes flame is red, sometimes flame is blue, and blue normally indicates that the flame is is a higher temperature, meaning it will burn you even more. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that after this redness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed this fire to burn for 1,000 more years, until this fire became white. And white, we see the sun is like a yellowy red. When you look towards the sun, you look closer towards the sun, the scientists will tell you that it's actually white as well. And this whiteness, we see how hot the sun is. We know how hot the sun is. Thousands, millions of degrees. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that He further kindled this fire for 1,000 more years. Meaning after this fire turned white, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kindled this for 1,000 more years, until this fire became black. And now this fire, it does not even emit any more light. It's complete darkness as well. Extreme heat and complete darkness. And in regards to the hellfire, we find that this place is a place where no human ever wants to enter. This is a place that everybody fears. The fear of Jahannam has been instilled into the hearts of those who are true believers. You only become a true believer once you fear the hellfire. Once you hear about the torments of the hellfire, then people will begin to realize that this world is temporary, this world is nothing. And the hereafter is the everlasting world. When we pass away, then the real life begins. Then the true life begins. In the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that the person who received the book of deeds in their left hand, then they will be complaining on the Day of Judgment. They will say that how I did not remember the hereafter. I was too busy in this world, and I did not look out for my hereafter. I was looking after my own wealth. I started gaining money rather than looking after my deeds. So instead of gaining good deeds, I was gaining haram. I was making haram money. And with this haram money, I accumulated all this haram money, and this has not helped me at all on the Day of Judgment. Because on the Day of Judgment, you will not receive a check in your hands. You will not receive a wallet in your hands. You will receive your book of deeds in your hands. And whichever hand you received in, then you will find out what your state is on the Day of Judgment. The points of Aqidah are where, in regards to heaven and hell, that these two places, these are undeniable, meaning this has been mentioned in the Quran plenty times, and it's been mentioned in Hadith as well. So anyone who denies the hell and anyone who denies heaven, these people become kafir. So Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, he once came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the severity of Jahannam. He didn't mention the people of Jahannam. He only mentioned the severity of the fire of Jahannam. He told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that if the gates of the hellfire were to open, and if a small spark of this fire, such that the spark is the size of the eye of a needle. So when you have a needle and you're sewing, the small part where you put the string through, if even a flame smaller than this were to come into this world,
Allah.
then every creature and every animal will burn. Everything will be destroyed just through this one small spark of fire. Then Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, he went further and he described to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he took an oath to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, he took an oath by Allah. He said qasam, he meant qasam. He said wallahi, that the people, the guards of the hellfire, the angels who